Welcome. We'll be beginning with the next part of the expected questions, and that would be concerned with the policy and the governance. Now, in the previous classes, we have seen how the various policies, so some of the important ones was ODF, ODF plus, ODF plus plus, so that's a remarkable development that we have achieved. Now, this year we have the 100th year of the Montego-Chelmsford reform. So again, very important question, not only for your prelims but also for your mains. What was the declaration, the 1919 declaration, where there was the diarchy in the provinces that was released. So the idea was double rule. So central government as well as the state should run in line, and that was the main idea that was propounded. It basically focused on more participation that was seen for Indians in the British administration. So that was one of the key aspects of the Montego-Chelmsford reform. The next is Ujjwala revolution. Now this talks about providing LPG scheme or LPG connections to people below poverty line. The households so far have been connected are around 5 crores, and this is estimated to basically strengthen more connections to up to 8 crore by 2020. So that's one of the major highlights of this program. The Atal Bahujal Yojana, as the name suggests, it is for the groundwater. So it is a centrally sponsored scheme. The target is to implement it within 5 years. So bringing in better groundwater management systems through community participation is one of the major approaches. The next is strengthening the healthcare with branded generic drugs. Now, so far, the drug used to treat the chronic leukemia, which is a common cancer of WBC, wasn't satisfactory. So there was a lot of things that were coming in, and drugs which were off patent were usually used by the pharma companies. Now, branded generics are helping to bring down the cost, to increase much more accessibility, to bring in more quality control. So those regulations would definitely strengthen the Indian healthcare system. The next is Criminal Law Amendment Ordinance 2018. It talks about death penalty for the rape cases for the age of 12 years and below, and this makes the laws much more stringent. The next is Hague Convention, very important. So Hague Convention on civil aspects of international child abduction. Now this is a multilateral treaty which basically focuses on children below the age of 16 years to establish a kind of central authority where any unlawfully removed children would be secured to the country of their habitual residence. So that's the sole idea of this Hague Convention. Matrubandhan Yojana is another important scheme led by Center. So it is to offer cash incentives in line of the partial compensation for the wage losses that have occurred during the child development period. Okay. The next is the mandatory pre-litigation mediation in commercial disputes. So rather than taking the cases directly to the court, there would be a mediation body which would be a kind of pre-legislation, and this would help resolve the cases at a much more systematic manner. This would be a kind of mandatory process that would occur within a period of 3 years. Now, Article 35A has been in controversy since long. This provides a special status to the state of Jammu and Kashmir. This was incorporated in 1954 by Dr. Rajendra Prasad, the then President of India, on advice of Jawaharlal Nehru cabinet. However, the interesting thing is, this time when this article was laid down, Parliament was not consulted, and this came into effect from a presidential order under Article 370. So that's one of the key things that we need to know. Article 35A, very important for your upcoming UPSC examination. Atal Bahujal Yojana, again a very important aspect for your mains. The next is lateral entry into civil services. Now we have seen that the civil services pattern has been revamped. The idea is to bring in more expertise into the field for 10 senior posts that have been considered. This would be an appointment for a period of 3 to 5 years across 10 different departments, with hiring the specialties from the respective field. So the minimum age is 40 years to apply and 15 years of experience. Manipur has come up with first sports university of its kind, a very important aspect to promote sports science, sport technology, sport management and coaching. So research and development programs have been taken into account. Then you have Samrak Shiksha program, where we are focusing on the quality of education, enhancing the learning outcome. It comes under three schemes that it would subsume. So it is the Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan and teacher education. So all three of those would be covered under one head, and this would be a 2T approach where there would be teacher and technology. So the idea is to focus on quality education. The next is food safety. Now food safety has been one of the important concerns. All the packed food which have at least 5% of the genetically engineered content must be labeled. If the food has more than normal levels of sugar or fat, it would be labeled as red and green. GM food would be labeled. Prohibiting any other kind of laws would be taken into account, and Project Dhoop has been started since April 2018. The idea of Project Dhoop is to provide vitamin D to the children, and that would be through shifting the assembly time to the noon, and that's one of the very unique efforts that have been taken. So Project Dhoop, very important. The next is Minimum Wage Act 1948. So the notification has come based on the cost of living index, and this has been brought under the Geetam Singh case. So the case under which it has been brought for the pay structures for the skilled and the unskilled laborers is important. Speaker pro tem, very important in line of the recent center election. So you have the pro tem speaker, which is usually the senior most member appointed. Now this is a position which is kept vacant immediately before the first meeting of the newly elected body takes place. So as soon as you have the first body that comes in, you have a new speaker that is appointed, but during that period you have a pro tem speaker. So it helps to elect the new speaker in the house, and that's one of the major functions of a pro tem speaker. We have a draft Kaveri management scheme that has been laid down. Now this talks about sharing of the water between Kerala and Tamil Nadu, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, and also a bit of Kerala and Puducherry that are part of it. So this has been an important issue. So Kaveri water dispute, a very important topic for the students of geopolitics and for your optional as well. Now Personal Law Amendment Bill 2018 focuses the battle against leprosy, and it introduces a bill which omits provisions for any kind of discrimination against leprosy affected persons. So that's again very important. A unique amendment has come where Supreme Court has laid down that state can resist or stop the doctors from getting voluntary retirement in the public interest, because most of the doctors we have seen, the good doctors don't enter into government systems, and if they enter, they shift to private soon. So in order to resist this whole scenario, this has been a Supreme Court ruling that has recently come. Now there has been misallocation of centrally sponsored schemes. The Universal Basic Scheme has been enhanced because of the weaknesses of the existing welfare schemes. So you have numerous welfare schemes that have been talked about: Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, midday meals, Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, and so on. The next is the passive euthanasia. So that's again a very important topic where we are talking about living wills, where a person can die with dignity. So right to die with dignity has become a part of the fundamental right. Again a very debatable topic, and this is an important topic for your essay paper as well. So with this we cover the major questions for your polity and governance. The last set of this, we would be covering the topics on international organizations in the coming session, and also soon after your prelims we would be conducting a workshop for essay writing. Most of the students find writing answers for the mains a really difficult thing and a challenging thing, and many of you don't get proper guidance as to how to write an answer. So we would be having an elaborate workshop on the same. The details are available in the description below. Do follow. Have a wonderful day.